your hands. We can dance, we can dance. Everybody's taking the chance. Oh, we'll sing to dance. Are you sick to dance? Oh, we'll sing to dance. Oh, we'll sing to dance. Are you sick to dance? Oh, let's sing to dance. Yeah. Oh, let's sing to dance. It's sick to dance. Oh, let's sing to dance.
Hey kids, it's Mrs. Lukes and Luke Skywalker here. We are checking in on the District 58 art teachers because they are giving us a hand today. They are working with us to teach us all about the life and the art of Keith Haring. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we'll talk about Keith as we go through. Keith Haring was an American artist whose pop art and graffiti-like work grew out of the New York City street culture in the 1980s. You can find his work all over the subways in New York City as he quickly created his sketches on different pieces of paper in the city with chalk. Haring's work was very different from other artists that we've seen in the past. As we go through his pictures, I'd like you to think to yourself, what makes Keith Haring's artwork different from others? Keith had a love of art from a very early age. He was inspired by the cartoons that he was drawing. When you analyze his pictures, think about what is he trying to share with the viewer. Look at his pictures. What are those black lines that he puts around his figures? Think about the colors. Does he blend? Does he shade? Does he use just one color in his pictures?
Today, we're going to talk about the pop artist Keith Haring. Keith Haring was born on May 4th, 1958 in Reading, Pennsylvania, and was raised in Kutztown. He developed a love for drawing at a very young age. He learned cartooning skills from his father and was inspired by the famous Dr. Seuss and Walt Disney. Keith Haring enrolled in art school in Pittsburgh as a commercial graphic artist, and after 2 semesters, he dropped out. Later that same year, Haring moved to New York City, went to school, and found many art communities that were developing all around the city. It was here in New York that he became friends with artists and musicians. In 1980, Haring wanted to share his art with others publicly, so he began to notice unused advertising panels covered with black paper in the subway stations. He began to create drawings in white chalk throughout the subway. Between 1980 and 1985, he produced hundreds of public drawings. They became very popular with the commuters, and they were always engaged in his work, stopping to see what new art he had created. Between 1980 and 1989, Keith Haring achieved international recognition and participated in many group and solo exhibitions. He completed many public projects in the first, ranging from designing sets and backdrops for theaters, clubs, and developing watch designs for Swatch, and creating murals around the world. In 1986, Haring opened his famous Pop Shop, a retail store which sold t-shirts, toys, posters, magnets, buttons, and anything you can imagine with his images and art. Haring considered the shop to be an extension of his work, and he painted the entire interior of the store in an abstract black on white mural. Throughout his career, Haring devoted much of his time to public works, which often carried social messages. He produced more than 50 public artworks between 1982 and 1989.
Keith Haring's work is so inspirational that he opened up a pop shop in New York City. We're going to take a look at some of the work that was displayed and sold at his pop shop. Hello, boys and girls. Today we just learned about Keith Haring and his very unique style of art. What we're going to do is we are going to be practicing gesture drawings. I am going to place you guys into breakout groups, and you are going to practice posing for each other, and you're going to sketch each other in a gesture drawing. I have my 58 green sketchbook here that I'm going to open up, and I'm going to flip to a nice clean new page. And on this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating what is called a gesture drawing. Gesture is G-E-S-T-U-R-E. Gestures, guys, are very quick, loose sketches of people in different poses. Keep in mind when you make these sketches, they're not meant to be perfect. They're not meant to, show all the details that you would see when you look at a person. They're supposed to be quick. So what I would do is I would think of it as a stick person first. So if I was sketching a person, I would sketch their head, I would sketch their body, use their arms in the directions their arms are going, and then sketch their legs going in the directions that their legs are going. Again, this really isn't proportionate. It's not meant to be perfect. Once I get the person sketched out, then I want to trace around that stick figure. So I'm going to go around my stick figure, coming down, creating the feet, going around, and then all the way back up to the neck, okay? Once you get to this point, you have the option. You could go ahead and erase out the center skeleton of the stick person that's on here, or you can leave it in just because these are just meant to be practice drawings that we're doing of the figures. So as you go through, you're going to make that stick figure. Again, maybe the person's got one leg that's coming down this way, one that's coming out. It's like they're, kicking us something. And I would trace, again, going around the figure, going back up, and then back up to the top. Again, going through, erasing out the skeleton on the inside. So what we'll do is we'll go into breakout rooms, and I will have you guys work in groups. And each of you are going to take turns posing for the other students, and you're going to sketch each other out. After you get more comfortable with this, you might eventually be able to draw the person without doing the stick figure on the inside. Let's bring it all the way down and make some legs coming down here this way. And I have my person. You can add the movement marks, kind of like Keith Haring did, to show that the person is moving. I could also take and I could bend arms, coming this way, one arm up. Oh, he looks like he's like disco dancing. This way, and again, adding in movement marks. So for today, again, we are going to work on gesture drawings. We'll break up into groups. You guys will pose for each other, and then you're going to do the gesture drawings of the poses that you make. Hope you have fun and enjoy creating your gestures.